guys, welcome back to According To. I'm Megan.
And I'm Ciera. For this week's episode, Megan and I are going to be exploring the wonderful world of Facebook groups, or at the very least, just like talking about why we love and hate Facebook groups so much.
Yeah, so it's come up in recent episodes or just like in the past. We always love to give a little shout out to, like in our social media Bible episode, Facebook came up and we just raved about how if you're not in Facebook groups, like you need to find different groups to join, because that's honestly like what makes Facebook entertaining at this point. So we'll jump into it. We'll dive deep into what kind of groups are we in, what ones have we tried in the past, what are the things that they're usually used for, what are the things that make us, screenshot something and send it to the other person to be like, what is this?
That's ultimately why we're in the group. I'm not here for the advice that, a lot of people are in the group for.
Yeah.
I'm here for the people.
So before we jump into that, recent things to catch you guys up on. I'm trying to think. I feel like, didn't we just record our episode not that long ago, or has it been a whole week?
I don't know.
Because I'm still reading the same book. I'm reading 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. Hopefully going to finish it this weekend. It's been good, but it's just been, for some reason, taking me seemingly forever. I think it's because, I keep getting tired when I go to read it. So it's I feel like I'm reading it all the time because I'm reading just a little bit every day. But it's I read,
not
10 pages.
Amount.
So, yeah.
I just finished reading Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I gave it 4 stars. You can check out my book highlight on Instagram if you want all of my book reviews. I gave it 4 stars. I didn't really even teeter on giving it more than that. It was a good book and I enjoyed it, but I didn't rave about it or scream like I know some people have when they read it. It kind of reminded me of City of Ember in the beginning, and then it switched to a Hunger Games kind of vibe later. Yeah, it was kind of confusing in the sense that the world building wasn't fully fleshed out for me, so they'd be talking about stuff or things or their society and culture that I was I don't get it. And so that was a barrier for me. But I could see myself continuing the series.
My weekly spotlight, if I'm just kind of jumping ahead to that, we can always continue with the catch-up if there's more to throw at it. But I have finished creating a reading corner in my room. Video is made about the whole process, so if you want to see any of that, then it's on our YouTube channel. But it's just before, my room just had I had a TV, I had some artwork and my bed and nightstands, but other than that, it was just kind of
bare bones.
That was it, which is fine. But now I just feel there's more, the space is being used more, and the chair that I got, I was really hesitant at first because I wasn't sure if it was gonna match the vibe, and the legs of it are not the cutest thing ever, but I think it was a good deal for the price, and it is a very comfortable chair. So that was what I needed to focus on if it was gonna be a reading chair. So I've already been sitting in it, and I'm just I think I'll actually have a nice little reading chair that I'm gonna use. So,
and also this is us just thinking about future videos and stuff, but now we've unlocked another set for our channel if we make future book videos and stuff. We'd have to figure out since there's only one chair there,
if we want to just sit in front of it, or
I don't know, but it is a new background for us to use, which is always fun.
It is fun. Otherwise,
my weekly spotlight, before you cut me off, is I got my dress that I'm going to wear for the wedding that we're going to next week, and I think it's my TikTok. Cute. My dress has yet to be revealed, but it's so cute.
I made a TikTok. I ordered 3 different dresses, all from Beginning Boutique, just to see what one I liked the most, and then I was going to return the others. And so I posted it still asking people could say their thoughts and opinions, but I basically was already saying number 3 is my dress. So don't let me know if you hate it. And most people were commenting and hyping up number 3 as well, or some people were saying I like this one, but I also like this one. I just love it. It's a yellow dress. I think it I just was it's not something I'd usually wear or go for, but I'm trying to step out of my comfort zone a little bit. And it's it's a summer wedding. We're by, I don't know what Great Lake is up there, Lake Michigan.
I think so. Let me pull up my phone.
But the wedding is on the water, so looking forward to just having the ultimate summer wedding vibe. And also, since it's a 3-day weekend for us, we're gonna try and see if there's other things we want to do in the area. Door County, I hear a lot of good things about, so depending on our schedules and what we have going on, maybe we'll
Like, we're really
just
trying
make a
to
time.
vacationize this wedding.
Yeah. Because other than, like, the wedding and then, like, Friday night, I know family is, like, getting together. But, like, I've got, you know, Friday during the day. That's really probably it. Saturday, I don't know what time we're supposed to be there. I'm also, like, am I getting my hair done? Am I doing that Saturday morning? Yeah. We're debating, like, trying, like, a blow-dry bar type of thing. And so
You
if
haven't
we were
even
to
looked to
do
see if there's
that,
one up there.
I looked.
Oh, you did?
And I found one. But again, we haven't decided if we're doing that or not. And so, yeah. Otherwise, life is kind of the same.
I'm living a good life right now. I'm very just overall pleased, happy. Part of it is just like the summer vibes.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, why don't I live somewhere where it's this nice all year round?
But then you're like, my family's not anywhere else.
I know.
And half of what I do is like
hang out with my family.
Yeah. We watched Elvis again yesterday. Our friend Abby came over. She had seen it once before, and she liked it the first time and was wanting to see it again. And so we finally, like, set up a time to all watch it together. It's funny because, like, she had mentioned wanting to do that a while ago. So I had purposefully, like, sometimes I'll get the itch of, like, it's been a while. I'm going to put it on.
Elvis
I'm going
itch.
to watch it. But knowing that she wanted to do that, I kept pushing it off. And I was like, no, because as soon as I watch it, she's going to be like, hey, remember how I said we should watch Elvis together? But last weekend, the itch was too strong.
It had to
I
be
was
watched.
like, I need to watch it. Technically, I just kind of put it on. I really wasn't paying that much attention to the movie. But, of course, then...
Yesterday, we really had to soak it in again.
Then, a couple days later, she texts being like, hey, can we watch the movie? And I'm just like, of course. I mean, I didn't have any complaints. I, like, actually watched the movie this time. And Ciera and I, you know... I was like...
Our dialogue is not 100%.
holding it back.
But we know a lot of the lines, or, like, the gist of a lot of the lines.
I always kind of know what's coming next. And in my head, I'm like, what do they say? What do they say next here?
Like, I can't just watch the movie. I'm, like, preparing for the next set of dialogue so that
like,
I can
this
say
is
it.
how actors do it.
Yeah.
But
it was a fun time.
Great movie.
I even got, like, some snacks. Like, we did the whole, like, movie thing. We were out of popcorn, so I went and got some popcorn, brought back some candy, which we don't usually have on hand. I even brought back some brownie brittle with, like, little mini M&Ms. That was good. So we really just did the whole movie night.
I feel like, too, because here's why I think I love Elvis so much, is, like, not just because I like the cinematography of it and, like, how they pieced it together, but it's, like, there are some parts where I feel like you kind of, like, you almost, like, get uncomfortable or, like, it's, like, too much. But I feel like it's, like, hyperbolic in the sense of, like, they're trying to be over the top with, like, the acting, getting points across. Like, for example, when it's kind of, like, breezing through stuff of, like, him getting more popular and famous and he's, like, breaking up with his girlfriend, it's, like, he gets one line to break up with her and then she's just got to cry. Like, that's, when you're watching it, you're kind of like, this is strange and odd because she's just, like, bawling for 2 seconds. But I feel like that was the art of Baz Luhrmann.
I think that, honestly, like, now having watched the movie a million times, like, the layout and the format of it makes sense to me. But I remember watching it for the first time, and I was like, what are we, like, we're speeding through everything.
But it's because, like, even every time I'm watching it, I'm like, we still have to get to this part and this part and this part. Because in my head, the movie is, like, sectioned kind of into, like, chunks of time and periods of his life. And it's like, we're not even at this part yet. We have to do this part after that.
And the movie's it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. Oh my God, we usually, like, talk about Barbie and Oppenheimer, like, leading up to that.
I'm upset because next weekend when we have our whole wedding weekend, I mean, it's going to be a great time, but it is release day.
It's Barbenheimer
Barbie
weekend.
and Oppenheimer, and I'm not going to be able to go see them until after the fact. So I'm a little upset, but it'll be something just to keep looking forward to. I am so pro this whole Barbenheimer duel of, like, they're not even
competing.
They are together,
brother and sister,
creating a great movie-going experience and time for theater.
And it's funny because there's no way, at least I don't think, there's no way when they first both chose, like, the same release date that they would, like, thought it would be as big of, like, a deal as it is turning into. But now, like, the directors and the cast and everyone are just playing into it, and, like, they're both supporting each other.
Both their movies.
And so I'm so excited to see both of them
props to anyone who, like, I know everyone keeps joking about seeing, like, a double feature, but I'm like, how many people are actually gonna do that?
Well,
I
then
don't
I
know.
also sent Megan how long Oppenheimer is supposed to be, 3 hours. Oof. Like, I'm still gonna go see it probably. But any movie that's like 3 hours or more is just wow.
Yeah. I feel like, because let's talk about order in which we're going to see them. I see a lot of people, you know, if people are like legitimately doing a double feature, this is at least how people talk about it. It's like, you got to start with Oppenheimer, get like the seriousness out of the way, or people, I think it's funny seeing people joke around like Oppenheimer for like the vibes and like a silly little movie, Barbie for the
philosophy.
and philosophy. But a lot of people, I feel like if you're seeing both, the most common order I've seen is like Oppenheimer then Barbie is like just overall what I've seen.
Well, I also think that's the way to do it, not just because it's both content and time. Oppenheimer is going to be
Like,
a
you're
heavy
gonna be
movie, I imagine,
brain dead after
and
you see Barbie.
very long. And then you don't want to like see Barbie. It's already been, you know, an hour and a half or however long it is, and then you're like, we got 3 hours of
And now I have
Oppenheimer
to
to
like
go.
turn my brain on. So I get that. I would probably do that too. However, since we're definitely seeing them just at different times, I've decided, and Ciera has gone along with me. I don't know if she's got a strong preference the other way, but I have decided that we need to see Barbie first because I just feel like there's going to be more of a cultural, like, things that I'm going to want to know the inside jokes on related to Barbie that I need to see it first. Oppenheimer, I think, will be a great movie, but I don't think there's going to be as much, like, lore around it that I'm going to be like, oh, I don't understand what people are talking about. So that's our thoughts. We're going to see Barbie first, and then we're going to see Oppenheimer.
And I can't imagine we're going to take very long between seeing them. Like, it could,
It could
very
be the
well
same week.
Yeah,
Like, you know?
exactly.
But
And then
just not same day.
otherwise, I think that there might be just like memes and stuff about them together, like after they come out, and then I'll need to have seen both of them to understand those. Also, the Wonka trailer dropped. Did we talk about that already?
No.
It doesn't look like a bad movie, but it is definitely interesting, the style with which we've seen specifically Timothée Chalamet, like,
It
acting.
seems almost like a joke, but it's not because it's supposed to be, you know, a good movie. But like how he's talking when you see the little clips of him, it's like,
So
see,
quiet up and listen down. Scratch that.
reverse it. Like it just all like the people like on
like I love
TikTok
it,
joking
but it doesn't
with
seem
like
real.
the anime type like delivery that he's giving. Like it's so true. You just like can't take it seriously.
So we've only seen little snippets of his acting. Hopefully, I don't think it'll be a bad movie. That part is a little interesting to me.
I know. I really want to know like what, given the reaction that everyone's had to that little trailer clips that they released, I want to know if the filmmakers are getting nervous.
Honestly,
or if they're like,
everyone's talking about it a lot,
know.
though. So all press is good press, maybe.
yeah,
Because without that, no one would be talking about it.
true. So we'll have to see. I don't even know when that one comes out.
I don't either. I think it's later in the year.
Okay, let's talk about our experience with Facebook groups just to kind of like dive in. I have probably been around the Facebook groups for like probably undergrad or college is really when I was like, oh, I'm going to join a few of these and like see what's going on. I don't even know when Facebook groups were made in the first place, but
I imagine they've been around forever.
typically my vibe is like I join groups that are targeted at young girls and women who are just wanting
Looking
some
for some life
lifestyle
advice.
and advice type stuff. Because I feel like that's where you get the most.
It's the widest
juice.
range.
It's relevant sometimes. It's interesting. You can certainly get into niche groups.
And now that you can post anonymously on Facebook, I feel like everyone's just like
Go for it.
unhinged.
Yes. There is also, Ciera at least had joined briefly, more so because like you kind of see like options of like, oh, like try this group out, and there's probably one for just about every major city. I don't know who's behind like who's at the core of like this
Concept.
brand or concept of the Facebook group, but it's like, are we dating the same guy? And
Des
it's
Moines.
like Des Moines or Omaha, any city, any major city basically has one, and it's like they all have the same little cover photos, so they're all like the same brand. I don't know.
Do Facebook groups have
I'm
a
like,
brand?
is
Is
someone
anyone
going
making money off
around
of this?
And the idea intrigued me. So, of course, all you have to do is join the group to see what's going on. Come to find out, well, it was interesting because, first of all, I feel like, you know, me being my age, I'm like, everyone has to be like my age. And that's what I'm expecting going into
No one in the group is our age. It was like all 30s, 40s, 50s was my experience of people, at least in the Iowa, Des Moines group that I was in. It was all older people, which is fine.
So, like, I'm joining it just to, like, I want to see what people are posting about. I'm like, are you guys dating the same guy? I want to know. But it's interesting because some people, a lot of the posts in there would, like, post a picture of said guy they were talking to. Sometimes with, like, almost no context. I'm just like, what's the tea? What's the thoughts on?
What's the red flags?
What's the red flags on this guy? And I'm just like, you think people in this group are just going to know that guy?
And they do.
But almost every post has comments like right away.
They're like, oh my God, I was dating him for 2 months last year and he ruined my life, blah, 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 blah.
Or some people are like, sweet guy, like loving father, really dedicated to his work, deserves a sweet woman.
Like,
and I'm just like, how does everyone know who these people are talking about?
Because to me, that screams like, and everyone can date however they want, but that screams that they're just like in and around the dating scene like crazy. If they know like, that many people.
And what even is the dating scene in the Des Moines area?
I don't know.
I was just like, how do you guys know every person in this group? And then also sometimes I'm just like, it seems like a little bit of like an invasion of privacy to like just post the person that you're talking to and then being like, tell me everything you know about him. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just don't feel like you're starting off like in a very trustworthy place.
I would see posts of people being like, clearly not everyone's following the rules because, you know, so-and-so is getting messages that this guy saw he posted in this group and you're not supposed to do that. This is a group of privacy. Like, you're not supposed to share when people are posted.
Well, it's the internet.
Yeah.
So
I'm not in that one anymore. I left because it just got kind of repetitive. And like I said, it was all like older people that I didn't really care about their dating life. I want the youngins.
Yeah. I also recently,
young people
not recently, but like when I was just trying to figure out more, I wanted more intrigue and interesting things on my timeline. So I joined like this just generic relationship advice one because I wanted to see like what issues people had going on. And I feel like there has to be like a cap on the group size that like you should join because like it was a huge group and it was too much.
You can
way too much.
I think filter the feed and like what it shows in your home feed, but I don't know what the different levels.
So I left that one as well. It just like wasn't as interesting as I was hoping it would be. So,
my favorite Facebook group that we've ever been on was the Gals on the Go podcast Facebook group, which has since been deleted. And I understand why. It would
get rough and rowdy in there.
I understand why, but it makes me sad because there were regulars in that group that like they'd post stuff and it was like continuing lore of like I knew way more about their life than I should. And I was like, girly, how is this going on? Like, what are you doing to yourself? Like, how do you keep letting these things happen to you? And so I miss that group. Haven't found one quite the same since. But we have joined a couple other groups, again, just kind of general lifestyle ones. And there's a couple things that people post that drive me insane. One example, typically groups have rules that you need to follow with posts that you're making. But the posts rules are pretty general and not hard to follow. And so in general, if you're posting something, you don't need to say, like, some people say, delete if not allowed. And then I just saved one because this girl was like, delete if not allowed, but does anyone know any good wineries, like, in this location? Why would that not be allowed? And then it annoys me that they said, please delete if not allowed. First of all, the post wouldn't have been approved. So I'm just like, use your critical thinking skills. Why would that not be allowed?
I also feel like there are certain things where it's like, I don't have an issue with people going and, like, asking for advice, or, like, a lot of times if people are planning trips, they'll kind of, like, give me tips, recommendations, places to go to, things like that. All great and good, makes sense. But then sometimes, and even, like, relationship advice, like, can make sense, and if people are just wanting others' thoughts. But sometimes people, like, post something, and you're, like, awestruck that they're even asking, like, is this a red flag, when it's, like, the worst possible thing anyone could ever do, ever, in a relationship? And they're like, what do you think?
Or the relationship posts that start off with, like, I've been dating my boyfriend for, like, 5 years, most loving, caring, gentle person that I have ever met with. I imagine that I'm going to marry him. But and then they go on a tangent, and I'm like, it seems
and then like the size of the post is like all the great things that they do, but and then it's like this giant long section of like they do this, and it's fun being in these groups as someone who's single, because like we've talked about before how like from our perspective it's so easy to be like, no, get rid of it, like leave immediately, you don't have to deal with that, because like we don't have any of like the skin in the game that these other people have, whether it's like time, emotion, whatever else goes
nuance to the situation.
Like it's so easy just from like a paragraph of information to be like, I'm not putting up with that, you shouldn't put up with that, head out. But realistically, like that's not how relationships work. So it's gonna be interesting when
one day
we're in relationships, and like, you know, if I almost need to circle back and think like, if I'm ever like struggling and like wanting to figure out how to move forward, it's like, if I were to post this in a Facebook group,
what would I
right
say
now,
to myself?
Like, what would my reaction to my own post be? And is it like, does it still match up with how I'm acting and thinking about them right now, or is it like, no, there's more?
That's a good litmus
to the
test.
Situation. What would people say if I posted this in a Facebook group?
Or
just
like honestly, a good indicator in my mind of if I should or should not be with someone would be like, if there's a scenario that I'm thinking of in my head of like, should I stay with them or not? If I'd be embarrassed to like tell someone or post something about it, then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be with them.
Same with like dating app stuff. If I were to like be mentioning,
you're like, oh, I matched with someone, I'm going on a date with them.
If I had to show someone's profile, like, and I'd be embarrassed, like I can't do it, because then like what am I judging it off of? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What made me say yes then if I'm embarrassed to show someone who I matched with?
Yeah. Because Megan and I mean, we have not gone on like a ton of dating app dates.
I've gone on one.
But like we will show each other like the profile, obviously, of whoever we're going to date with. And so I could not be like, here it is. Like, don't. It's when.
Be gentle.
It's funny though, because when people who don't, like, they meet someone in person, and they're like, oh my God, like, show me a picture of him. And they're like, that's like different, because sometimes the social media is not up to par with the real life person. So you're like, this is his Instagram, but like, don't judge it. He's better in person. So that's the flip side of the dating app idea.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're someone that like you look better in photos or in real life? I think I certainly can have good photos, but I also feel like I wouldn't consider myself photogenic.
I wouldn't either.
So in that sense,
but there's also
I just am who I am.
Sometimes I see, if I'm going to my Instagram right now for reference, because that's where my best photos go, my best work. Like if I go to my Instagram and this picture, then I was like, this is the best picture I've ever taken of myself. And I'm like, my hair is, I blow dried it, blue dry. I don't know what the proper past tense is for that word. The day before, I don't know if I'm wearing makeup in this one or not. I don't, like, even if I was, like, you know, I don't wear a ton of makeup anyway, so it doesn't drastically change my appearance. But I'm just like, so in theory, this girl is who I am most of the time. But then I know there's pictures of me where I'm like, oof, what is different about that?
See, I would say I think that I probably look better in person than in photos. I just feel like in person, like, you are who you are, you know?
We are who we are.
Anyways.
I think you look the same.
Here's an example of, this has to be, there's no way this person is listening to the podcast, and I'm not sharing names anyways, but the person would know if they posted this, you know? But Ciera sent it to me a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if there was more that was supposed to be nuanced or whatever within this question, but it has to be one of the dumbest questions I've ever seen posted.
And this is the other thing. If you can plug your question into Google, and like, I understand wanting an answer with nuance and needing to ask a person for that, but if you can legitimately plug a question into Google and get like the answer, there is only one answer in theory. Do not ask it in a Facebook group. Google it, because everyone else is Googling it too.
Here's what someone asked. If I want to save $10,000 in 6 months, how much money should I put away weekly?
Well, gee,
and there wasn't any,
I don't know.
It wasn't nuance of like, what are some tips you guys have to like budget a little better, to save more money?
It wasn't like I have this and this coming up that I need to like accommodate for, with like maybe switching up my financial situation of like saving more here and like less later.
So it made me laugh because there is one comment on here and it said $416.67 a week. And so if you literally just do the math for saving $10,000 in 6 months, that's the math. And I don't know if they wanted more or less, but I'm just like, you couldn't have put that in a calculator on your own?
And then the fact that someone actually did answer and like give them the time of day to respond to that, good for them. But I'm just like, use some critical thinking skills a little bit more. Another one that I had that I thought was funny, someone was like, is it weird that I've had 4 dentists ask me if I've had braces? And she's like, I haven't had braces. I like have naturally straight teeth, but like they keep asking me, is that normal?
It's like, why ask that?
Why do you care? Why do you care enough about why your dentist is asking you about your dental history, first of all? Also, why are you going to 4 dentists?
She hasn't found one she likes yet because they keep asking her if she's had braces.
She's like, ask me if I had braces again. She's offended that she's like, this is natural, baby. She's like, how dare you think I've had braces? This is natural. You remember when we thought we didn't need to get braces?
I don't know if I ever thought I didn't need braces. I was just like, other than my gap, my teeth are pretty straight.
Yeah. I had like a whole like train track going up into my gum line because of my extra tooth. Thank God for braces. Also, this is unrelated to anything, but it's related to braces. I, for the longest time, thought that we were going to get rubber bands because I thought they wanted to correct our bite, or at least my bite, and they just like never did. And then do you remember like we went in that one day and we're like, you want them off? Take them off.
Yeah.
And then our dentist was literally just like, are you happy with your teeth and like how they look? And we're like, yeah.
Yep.
And then you remember we got them off. I was like, what have I done?
I think it's really shocking and jarring when you get your braces off for the first time.
Yeah.
It's just like the gums are swollen. You're so not used to your teeth without braces.
And I expected, because every video that I had ever seen, you were in the braces videos. Like, oh my God.
So excited to get my braces off.
Like every week, Megan would be watching like videos of people getting their braces off. It was insane.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And you're just like waiting for the day that you get your braces off. And in most of the videos, I feel like everyone is always just like, oh my God, they look so good. And I didn't have like that instant reaction of like, oh my God, they look so good. I was like, I think they look good. I don't know. I can't really tell.
We still look like something's a little off, I feel like, in the pictures, like immediately after we got our braces off.
And maybe it is the gums being inflamed or whatever. I don't know. I've shared that, like, if anything, my teeth are great. I have no issues with my teeth. If anything, the reason I have issues with my smile is because of like my gum line, or like my smile's crooked in a way. But the teeth are good. So I have no complaints about the braces there. I just have to go see a surgeon or something.
Yeah. I go get like laser surgery.
Oh, okay. I haven't decided. Again, this is me talking hypothetically. I've never really even looked into this that much. But I'm just like, would the way to go be to get my gum line fixed, or would it be to get like Botox in my muscle that brings that side up
I do
higher?
feel like I actually just saw like a post probably in one of these groups where someone was asking about like getting like lip filler to help with the gummy smile, but then people in the comments were saying like, I'd go like the Botox route of like,
I'm not against it,
XYZ
for sure.
So a lot of people were sharing their experience in the comments
because the issue is that like, which again, people are gonna be like, it's your natural smile, like don't hate it, and it's fine. But
you've gone 23, almost 24 years, and
when I like notice a picture that like, it's
when you're really genuinely happy and you're
no, see right now when I'm smiling and it lifts up higher on one side and I can't help it, it just does. And that's the same side that has like a lower gum line, and so then the net gum shown is more different. Is this what you guys wanted to listen to? Is more than the other side. And so if I do this,
you have to get Botox,
see how the difference
on the right
is
side.
It feels like I'm doing the same thing, but the right side goes up much higher.
So I wonder how much we looked up how much that costs, right? I think it's like $1,000.
Maybe I would go with like the Botox thing
you
first.
You should do like a consultation, see if they like think it's feasible.
Yeah,
Botox has to be cheaper than that surgery. And it's like
I do Botox first and then see, and it would probably wear off a little bit, so like it's not like it's permanent.
Yeah,
I could get it redone if I liked the results.
Yeah.
Something to think about. I could do a whole video about it.
Yeah. Do that for next week's video.
Yeah, wow.
We're doing like a video next week on Megan and Ciera where it's like us kind of like pampering ourselves, doing things before our cousin's wedding. Mostly it's like, you know, I might want to get a facial. I was actually scheduled today to get a lash lift and tint, but that got canceled, so I have to reschedule. I'm not sure when. But just like kind of like extra little services or things that we don't usually do that we're trying to, you know, do because we can, and we can make a video out of it, and it's kind of fun.
So we'll put that Botox in for next week.
We'll have to get your console set up.
Yeah. It would be funny though, we'd be able to, obviously it wouldn't be for next week, but if we did do it in the future and made some sort of video, we could do like the whole like, oh my god, I got Botox, clickbait type of deal.
Botox. Yeah.
Which it wouldn't be clickbait because it would be Botox. Botox is the one that you can get dissolved, right? Or is that lip filler?
That's filler.
Which is different than Botox. Okay.
Botox is a paralytic.
Yeah. It does wear off though, right? That's why people have to keep getting Botox.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's another. I don't really have a good segue of this, but like I did screenshot and kind of take pictures of like just other posts that either I thought were like, why the heck are you posting this? Like kind of stupid, or just like they're fun, easy, simple ones to talk about. / also like you didn't really need to post this, but people post whatever they want. Here's one.
And also, I feel like some people are going to be like, it's a Facebook group. Like, people are supposed to post things. Why are you mad about it?
I'm not mad.
This is just for fun. We're just sharing the goofy ones that we're like, why did you post this?
I'm not commenting mean things on these people's posts.
We're making a podcast about it.
Okay, so this one says, want to pick someone's brain about this. How would you feel about your fiance buying a single female coworker Starbucks, going out of his way to ask if she wants anything? Am I reading too far into it? LOL.
I would be like, why are you doing that?
You would.
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like my thought is kind of like,
is he getting Starbucks anyways?
I need more to the situation. Because a lot of people are like, this could be very normal, especially if he's like getting like coffee for like multiple people in the office, or maybe she did something to help him out and he's like being nice and getting coffee in return. So especially like in an office environment, coffee is kind of like a very like potentially neutral ground. You could read more into it. I don't know the full situation.
I don't care. Like if it was like something they like go back and forth of like she'll get Starbucks and get something for him, and like he'll get Starbucks and get something for her. Like if it's just like a mutual coworker like Starbucks run, I don't really care about that. But if he's just like getting her Starbucks every single week, I'd be like, you're taking work wife on a weekly basis. Is she paying you back?
So a lot of the comments said like you're reading too far into it, or some people were like context matters a lot, and like knowing a little more about the situation would probably help give you like a better idea. But then it made me laugh because someone else just commented saying like fiance, I'd call it off, like actually.
That's like what you and I were talking about.
That's like what Ciera and I do. That's what we always say.
Immediately call it off.
But this is like some of the situations people share, I am literally like, call it off. This is not that. So that was one I saw. I already shared like the $10,000 in 6 months. Okay.
You shared the next one.
Okay. First of all, I've never heard of this terminology used before. How do I, quote unquote, spin the block? AKA go back to somebody that liked me, but I turned them down. I think he still likes me, but he has a girlfriend. We grew up together, and it's like I was never into him all those years, but now I want to give him a chance. Forget his girlfriend. Laughing face. I'm just kidding. I'm JK. That's what they said. I want to be respectful of her / their relationship, but at the same time, I don't want them to get too serious or for him to feel like it's still unrequited, so he settles for her. Don't come from you guys. I don't condone cheating, but I don't want him to think he's friend-zoned or family-zoned. This was a very, first of all, just how it's worded and everything. It's kind of like, she's like, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. But like, I'm actually not kidding.
I don't condone cheating, but like, I also want to break up the relationship.
I want to be a homewrecker. So that was interesting because then she like gave more context, I think, in the comments, which I didn't screenshot or anything. But like, didn't you say it was like,
she was like, I haven't talked to him since 2017.
That is 6 years ago.
And you still think he likes you?
And also like, yeah, that's the thing. She's like, she's so, I understand maybe he even had like a thing for you for like multiple years, but it's been 6 years. And so now she's like,
has a girlfriend.
Now she's just like, I know he's still like, he would so come after me if he knew I was like interested in him. Like that's the energy she's like giving off. And it's like, how highly of you to think of yourself to think that, like, all you have to do is, like, casually let him know you're actually interested now, and he'll come running back to you. I just, like, my whole take on the situation is, like, let it go. Move on.
A post that I found, and again, this post was fine, but sometimes how generic a post is just like, what do you want the answers to be? It could be anything. So this person said, what do you expect when you're dating someone? And that could mean a million things.
Like, we need more clarification on what you're looking for.
Like, how long have you been in a relationship? Are you guys in the same town? Is it long distance?
I'm looking for a lot, but what do you want me to say?
Like, how often do you see each other?
Like, even that's general. What my expectations are. Like, so many things, which is why that first comment is, like, a million paragraphs long, because she actually does, like, say everything she expects in a relationship.
This is one of the responses said, I expect them to treat me like the queen of the universe. I expect them to be consistent, respectful, communicative, reliable, available, loving, caring, etc. I expect them to provide, check up on me, make plans, lead the relationship, etc. I expect to not lift a finger in the relationship. FYI, everything I expect is what I give in the relationship, except provide and lead. In my personal belief, I think a man should lead and provide in the relationship and not the woman. And the person that posted this said, they responded and they said, I wish, but I feel like I'm just his friend. So, I don't know.
What do you
being
expect?
In the lead post should have been like, I feel like I'm just his friend. What do you do in a relationship to make it feel like you are actually dating? Would have been a better question.
Yeah. Not just like, what do you expect in a relationship or when you're dating? What do you expect from someone when you're dating?
Above
like,
all else funny? Is respect.
Yeah.
I imagine.
It's so funny because, like, whenever people say, like, oh, like, what are you looking for, like, in a guy, you, like, list off, like, every quote-unquote good quality ever, because that's what you'd want in a person most likely. And it's like, and then not the negative qualities. And I just feel like it's funny how at the end of the day it's like, we're all looking for the same thing, but
everyone's different. Like, you could put two people, you and some random guy, and you could say, like, you'd have written down, I'm looking for this, this, and this. It's all the same thing, because it's so generic.
Right.
I want them to be kind, caring, funny,
respectful,
smart, but funny is subjective. Like how you show how kind and caring you are is subjective, and, like, to what level. Like, I know there's certain people, like, if they were super caring and nice and just, like, all of that to you, you'd get annoyed.
Yeah.
Of, like, if they were just like, oh my god, like, what can I do for you, blah blah blah, and you'd be like, stop. Yeah. But to someone else, that might be what they want. And so, even just the general things of what people are looking for, there's a spectrum.
Okay. Here's another one. Do you think it's a red flag if when my boyfriend and I discuss the future, like of which city to move, he says things like, let's just focus on the now, or I don't like to plan ahead. He is all in on the decision to get married, but I want to move close to family, and that is his response to the possible cities near them.
I don't know if I'd say, like, red flag, but I feel like at some point I'd have to sit down and be like, okay, if this is going to happen, we need to figure out where we're going to live. Like, this isn't just a hypothetical situation. It will happen.
Yeah.
So, the now is eventually going to be the later, and we need to know what we're doing.
Yeah. That's mostly... Well, someone said... There's two comments that you can see in, like, my thing that I screenshotted. Someone said he probably just needs time to come around to the cities that you've suggested... blah blah, and then the other one said, save yourself the heartbreak and leave. Which is us. So funny because it's like the extreme that anyone who's not connected to the relationship is allowed to have, because they're like, whatever.
Okay, I have one that I saved. How would y'all subtly suggest to your clueless boyfriend that he should get you something for National Girlfriend's Day? Like, I'm his very first serious relationship, and I don't think he knows getting $5 Walmart flowers would make my absolute week. I feel like I should just give him hints, but I don't know how. Would you expect a gift for National Girlfriend's Day?
I don't know. I, like, those, like, national whatever days, like, I don't really take all that seriously, to be honest.
Always take it as an excuse for people to post their significant other. I never thought people would actually get a gift or something.
Like, I wouldn't do that.
Like, if he got me something, I'd be like, oh, that was sweet.
Right.
In the sense that if he also got me flowers on, like, a random Tuesday night, I'd be like, that's sweet.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, okay, if it's National Girlfriend's Day, and he got something just because, like, he probably, if he knew it was National Girlfriend's Day, like, thought of you, and then maybe it was just like, I could do something nice because I'm a nice guy.
I'm a nice guy.
I could do that. In that sense, sure. But I wouldn't be like, he doesn't need to be like, so National Girlfriend's Day is like a week from now. We need to go to dinner to celebrate.
I'd be like, what?
I'd be like, okay.
I'd be like, we can go to dinner, I guess, but
right. It's
not for the holiday. That's weird.
This one is literally like, I'm going to read it and you guys are going to be like, what the heck is going on? Because that's how.
The chicken one?
Yes. So, here we go. I'm freaking out. My husband and I took chicken out yesterday to defrost. My husband put it in the fridge. I was about to start dinner and realized that the packaged chicken was leaking on the plate it was on. Well, the raw chicken blood dried on the counter overnight and no one noticed. I have 4 kids and one of them is a 2-month-old baby and I'm terrified of him getting sick. I'm crying and I don't know what to do. I cleaned the chicken blood up, not realizing what it was. I did use Autoban to clean it. I'm not sure if I touched anything else after cleaning it up. I don't normally touch my baby when I have chemicals on my hands from cleaning. However, I was wearing him in a baby carrier. I feel absolutely sick to my stomach. I don't want anyone getting sick from the raw chicken blood. I don't know what to do. I feel like I need to disinfect the whole house. Are you not just like, what are we asking here? I'm so confused. First of all, you're like, the chicken blood, it's been cleaned. The chemicals, you either were carrying the baby or you weren't, and you can't do anything else about that now. Also, what?
Because I understand that parents of newborns can be, like, very meticulous and freaking out of, like, how to keep their baby healthy and safe, but surely not to that extent. That is not normal. And, like, I don't get it because, like, you didn't do anything wrong. You cleaned a mess. Even if you didn't know it was chicken blood, it doesn't freaking matter.
Yeah. And, like, I'm just confused because, like, she was freaking out about the chicken blood after the fact of, like, already having it cleaned up, I feel like. And then, like, so you already picked whatever chemicals you were using to clean. Would you not have followed the same protocol of whatever you always do whenever you're cleaning?
Like, what is the issue? And why would you need to disinfect the whole house? You had dried chicken blood on a counter. I'm presuming you have washed your hands, showered, cleaned the counter, cleaned the floors, whatever, as you normally do. You're fine. And at this point, honestly, there's nothing you could do. If your baby was going to get sick, it's already said and done.
And how would he get sick?
Yeah.
From what? Anyways, I think you sent that.
I did send that to you.
To me or, like, our...
I think I sent it to you first, then you might have sent it to Haley and Maggie.
Because, like, what? I've got one other one.
Okay, I don't have any more posts to share.
Okay, this one is more so, like, shock value, I guess. Okay. Hi, girls. I've been struggling with feeling insecure about my boyfriend's ex, which, like, so far I'm kind of like, okay, she's going the advice route. She just, like, wants some, like, reassurance. He was with his ex for 5 years, and he told me that he planned to marry her. Okay, pretty serious ex.
That's funny, because it's, like, obviously if someone's dating someone for 5 years, mentally, I'd be like, they probably, like, saw themselves, like, together for the long haul. But I'd be like, well, don't tell me that. Don't tell me you're going to get married.
It's a difficult situation for me because I constantly feel like he still has feelings for her. They've only been broken up for about a month. This is when I was reading, and I was like, how long have you been dating, first of all? Second of all, after 5 years, he's only been broken up for a month, and you think he, like, moved on?
Doubtful.
Probably not. So, like, your feelings are probably valid, but also, like, can't you see the issue here of, like, not enough time in separation for him to, like, actually get over his ex of 5 years? Anyways, can anyone they've only been broken up for a month, and even though he tells me he would never go back to her, I just can't stop thinking about the length of time they were together. Can anyone give advice on how to get over this? What would you, like, how long does someone need to be broken up with someone to, like, for you to be confident that they're, like, over and you're not, like, a rebound? Or
I mean, I'm not going to set, like, a hard and fast rule of, like, if I started dating someone and it was going well and I only found out, like, oh, I broke up with my girlfriend 3 months ago, I wouldn't be like, oh, well, like, I'm cutting this off.
Yeah.
But I do think 3 months is still kind of a short amount of time. So, I don't know. I'm, like, honestly someone I'm, like, I would feel like I wouldn't even ask about this because, like, I've never been in a relationship. So, like, I wouldn't even think to be like, oh, like, when was, like, your last relationship? I would at some point, but it's just not something that I have thought about, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like more so, like, not even necessarily, like, from, like, a me perspective, but I'm, like, from watching from afar, like, if I know someone had, like, broken up with someone, and then, like, I see maybe they're, like, dating or seeing other people, I'm kind of like, what is the time where I'm kind of like, already? Like, seems a little soon. I feel like...
And we've never been... I mean, technically, you've been on the other side of that, because you have broken up.
But it's not like I... There are people who are constant daters, and then there are people who are not. It wasn't like...
Yeah.
I didn't break up, and it was like, okay,
we need to talk about just, like, revolving
I saw
door
a post
daters.
of someone saying from the age of 18 to 27, they were not single for more than a month.
That is insane.
And they called themselves a serial dater, like, they knew they were. But I'm just like, that breed of person makes no sense to me. How can you so quickly be dating someone else that, like, you care enough and, like, value enough as a person to, like, be a good match for you?
I just saw a TikTok. It was from a pretty popular, like, blonde New York TikToker. She talks about dating quite a bit, but her name escapes me. Tasha or something? I don't know. But she was talking about serial daters, how she doesn't trust their taste. And she's like, because I meet one person, like, every 2 years that, like, could maybe be a serious relationship. If that. And I feel that.
I feel that, too. Okay. That was all I had.
Or, like, honestly, this is just unrelated to, but, like, in-person crushes.
I feel
when
like
was
the
the
3
last
months
in-person crush that you had? Of, like, you met someone in real life
Here's the
and
thing.
developed a crush on them.
My current, like, in-person crushes are fleeting because I don't see them again.
They're at the
I don't
gym.
have... There isn't, like, someone I regularly see on a regular basis that I'm like, this is, like, my new, like, crush that I have. Like, I haven't had a crush on someone since, like, high school. Because I feel like that's when you're in a situation where, like, that's kind of, like, who you see as your dating pool and you're, like, around them all the time.
I know, but isn't that annoying? Because having little crushes makes
fun.
life fun.
It is fun.
Even if it's, like, I could have, like, a gym crush, but I never see, like, the same people.
Yeah.
I see the same old men every single time.
I see a lot of the same people, but, like, none of them are my gym crushes.
Yeah.
There was one guy that I saw at the gym where I was like...
We need to talk about...
Or the running guy.
We've already talked about him.
But, like, where I was actually kind of, like, shocked and taken aback. Because I was like, oh, my God. And then I also... You know that TikTok trend that's going around where it's, like, people post, like, slideshows of, like, them happy for the first 2 pictures, but it's, like, a really sad overlay of text, like, you know, me after breaking up with someone, like, in a 4-year relationship, and the pictures of them smiling. So I have, like, 2 things. And I sent Ciera a TikTok, and, like, I felt it so hard, where it was, like, the last slide was, I need
like,
to read
knowing
it.
that Charles Leclerc will never know that I exist or something.
Yeah. I'm like, I need to read it verbatim, because...
It's just so sad that he is, like, an age-appropriate celebrity crush.
When I told Ciera that, because she didn't know how old he was, like, I'm sure you probably thought he was, like, I don't know. Do you think he was 30?
Later 20s.
Later 20s?
His looks older.
He is our collective celebrity crush. Okay, so this is me when I get rejected by every living male that is alive and dead. And she's just, like, smiling. Me when I get called ugly by every male. Last photo. Me when a 25-year-old Monegasque Ferrari F1 driver named Charles Marc Hervé Percival Leclerc will never know I exist, and that I'll never live out my dreams of marrying him.
Like, that is so
Felt.
true. So real.
And especially because it's like, he's going to be dating someone.
I think he has a girlfriend.
I think he does too. Which, like, good for her. Good
And
for
Megan
her.
was saying, she's like, you were thinking about watching F1 again, but then you're like, no, it would, like, break my heart even more if I actually did start to like his personality.
When I first tried watching F1, like, a couple years ago, it was only because, like, people were hyping it up. I didn't really know any of the characters. Like, I don't know who Charles Leclerc was. The people.
The drivers.
But now that I, like, the celebrity crush that I have on him now, without having ever watched the show and just seeing, like, little snippets and edits on TikTok, if I watched the show and saw him being, like, a kind, caring, genuine, funny guy, like, I think I would actually
throw up.
Have some issues. So I will not be doing that. I just love him so much.
That's like if you had to, like, put, like, my type on a person or, like, on a poster board, I feel like.
Which is hard because
him.
It's just rough.
When I
like,
say
the same type.
Does he even have brown eyes? I don't know.
I think so.
When I say brunette and brown eyes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not just anyone.
Him.
So.
Anyways.
Anything else
No,
related to
that's
Facebook groups or anything? That was the only other Facebook post that I had.
We can give a good shout out to Facebook News.
This is for me. So Megan does not have a Facebook News tab on her phone. She must just have that setting turned off. Facebook News, at least, it says for you. So it must, in some way, shape, or form, cater it to the crazy news that I love. But I used to be a big Twitter moments girl, and then Twitter started sucking, so their moments aren't very good anymore. And Facebook News is now where I go for my fun, wild, quirky, zany news updates. And, I will, tell Megan about this crazy story that she hasn't heard of because she's not on Facebook News. And so it's, how I keep up with the wild and the weird.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got for today's episode.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know if I should get Botox or seek it out.
If you've had experience with that, Ciera would love to know.
If you guys are watching the YouTube video, feel free to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment, give the video a thumbs up. If you are listening, feel free to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever.
Otherwise, we will talk to you guys next Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.